Oh Jesus! Great way to start a video. Yeah, this is weird. For me, I guess. Not really, but I'm trying something new. I wanted to sort of create a vlog, create a blog, post originally on my website, but words, sort of typing words out is a bit difficult nowadays, just because classes started and you know, I don't really want to type anymore. That said, I've done, you know, sort of video blogs before, and I guess I'm trying something new, speaking my mind out and sort of just letting my mind spill onto the camera. This video is gonna be quite new for me. It's gonna be, I've done YouTube before, like when I was like a really young child. Do not question it. I've hidden the videos, and I don't really want to share it. It's a bit cringe. Anyways, I guess this video is just sort of a more different approach to how I want to make some of my blog posts from now on. And I guess today is a good way to do it because I've got an interesting topic I want to talk about, I guess. More so because it's something that really changed my viewpoint of life, I guess, as a whole. And sort of how I want to approach things from now. So, if you know me, I was in a relationship 3 months ago with a girl that I had loved, right? We were in a long distance relationship before because she had to go back home for the summer. But a month ago, decided, I'd travel to visit her at her home country. Not only to see her, but also to sort of, visit foreign countries because I've not been outside of London or Canada for holiday. And so I thought, hey, great, it was a great opportunity. Little did I know, it would be the sort of the last day or so that I'd be able to consider her my girlfriend, because actually a month ago today, the 29th of August, we broke up. And yeah, I guess this video is sort of a 1 month reflection on sort of the event, and over time what I've sort of how I've dealt with it, how I've thought about it, and how it's came through my mind. I guess to begin, I think because this was my first relationship, I think it was quite unique. It is unique in a sense that, it's the first time, anyone would feel these sort of emotions, strong emotions, and in a way it's very special, the things I felt, because you're just so, it's very raw and it's very like strong, and it's something you're unfamiliar with, I guess, for the first time around, and it's exciting, it's fresh, it's new, it lifts you off your feet and you feel transported to this sort of new world where things feel so different and so much better, I guess. But that's also what makes it so much worse when you go through it, right? Because you feel like all that feeling, all those feelings, all those moments, right? Oh, she's the one, gonna be with her for as long as I can make it, right? As long as you can make it, all of that, all of that just to disappear, just like that, and it does suck. It does really suck, and there's no way to just skip around it. It will hurt, and if it doesn't, well, maybe either you're the most resilient person alive, or I have a few concerns for you, but that's for you to decide. I can't judge. if you can't tell, I'm also extremely sick too. Well, not extremely, but slightly sick. I've been sick for a few days now, and it is quite annoying. You can tell by my voice, it's quite hoarse and stuff. But anyways, I'm not talking about sickness. Anyways. But yeah, no, just that feeling of affection and raw emotion and love, to disappear in a blink of an eye, it's quite a shock. It will be a shock, and I guess I spent the first few days of the breakup sort of lost in this sort of fog, not knowing where to go. I spent days crying my eyes out every morning, thinking, what went wrong? What happened, and was there anything I could do to stop it, right? And one of the first things I've learned, I guess, in this experience was that you can ask yourself the what ifs and the if I had, or the what could I have done, right? The even better ifs. But at the end of the day, nothing will do. Nothing. No thinking. No amount of thinking about the past, thinking about past actions, could sort of save or salvage what you had and what has passed. Nothing will bring that person back to your life in that sort of sense. And it is tough. It is tough to sort of accept, right? Like, it's tough to sort of see that person as one thing, all of a sudden change into a different person. It doesn't have, not a stranger per se, but just someone that you can't view them as, like, you can't view them as your significant other anymore. It's more just a friend or just a person, right? And it sucks. It really does. And in a way, you, like I said, you will feel lost, but I think it's the way we approach things in life that can help us go through this period. Because for me, I was very fortunate enough to have a support network of friends who understood my sort of, not understood my situation, but more so were able to help me out of the situation, who were empathetic and who truly cared for me, and I'm forever grateful for that. To the people who I'm talking about in this video, you will know who you are. All those days calling you in the afternoon, just talking my heart out, complaining or talking about my confusion. To those people who have called, I'm really grateful that you're here for me, and I'm really grateful to have you as my friends and call you like some of the best friends I've had. But that leads me to sort of to my second, like, I guess lesson, I guess you could call it, right? It's that, I guess, with these types of relationships, first love and all that, like, you tend to be blindsided by that one, like, sort of that one romantic love, that you sort of tend to ignore the other aspects, your friends, your family, community, and whatever other forms of non-romantic love you have in your life. You tend to be blindsided by all these things, and you tend to sort of ignore them, I guess, in a way. That's for me anyways. I don't know about anyone else, but you tend to sort of put those behind your head and sort of relegate them to some obscure space. And I guess when you become so blinded by it and you become so ignorant to them, you forget that there are other things in your life that make you who you are. You know what I mean? Because I know for my experience, I began to take a dislike to the sport that grew me as a person, right? Rowing. Began to sort of ignore it and dislike it and started getting to hate it. And because I wanted to focus my life on the person I thought I'd be with for a long time. But when that person left, I felt like I had no other reason to carry on with the sport. and I wanted to, quit it. But over time, I started to realize I still love the sport, right? And I still wanted to put all my hard work and effort into it. And so, also when it came to other aspects of life, exercise, academics, and what have you, right? Like you feel like you're gonna, sort of ignore them, and you have nothing else in your life to work around. But in truth, you have so much, and guess the silver lining is, with this breakup is I began to sort of remember all these things in my life, and sort of I began to chase them, not chase them, but sort of rediscover them, and sort of rediscover who I was as a person, that I should not be defined by just one person. And yeah, I think that definitely helped me sort of go through my heartbreak a bit easier. That is to say, I'm not fully recovered yet. I don't think a month is enough to fully recover through a heartbreak. I think, especially in the way I dealt with it, I think I was definitely a lot more fragile than I expected myself to be. Because I still think about it from time to time. There's some moments I wake up, I hear a certain song that sort of triggers a memory inside of me, and you can't help but feel sort of a slight overwhelming of emotions. But I think a month in, I've definitely gone through the 5 stages of grief. I've come to accept, things that are, and I think another sort of thing I've brought out from this is you can't blame anyone. I think blame is a really strong reaction to have, unless some infidelity or some other shitty incident happens. I don't think you can blame anyone in this situation. I think breakups happen, people lose their feelings for each other, and some things don't work out in life, and I think most important thing to do, right, is to sort of acknowledge that and sort of accept that we are different people at the end of the day. There's no such thing as the perfect couple. We all have our differences, and sometimes these differences clash a bit too hard, and it's better off if you stay as friends or just separate from each other completely. And I think that's something that a lot of us don't really understand in life, is that relationships aren't always a one-sided game. There's always going to be problems, and everyone's going to blame each other, but at the end of the day, it's a problem that is shared amongst all parties, And I guess you gotta ask yourself, like, if I could go back in time. I know I talk about, like, not talking about what ifs, but in this case, it's more asking yourself, like, what can I learn from this experience to be a better person? And if I find another person along the line, right, what can I do to be better for them, and sort of make things better for both of us? Because at the end of the day, relationships are also teaching moments for you. It builds character, and it sort of develops you for who you are as a person, and it's how we deal with it and how we reflect upon it that sort of helps us become stronger and better as people. And I think, despite all that, I think I still care about my ex, and we're still friends, and it's good, but it is hard looking at her sometimes and thinking, she's my ex. Like, there's no better way to dance around it. Like, you just look at her and be like, oh, blimey, like, what the hell, right? But yeah, I don't know. This month has just been a interesting experience, I guess to say, because I've gone through so many emotions, gone through so many thought processes. Like there isn't a single moment where I feel like I'm still lost in that fog, that I'm still drowning in the ocean, and sort of held up by these thoughts, I guess. Because you don't get over a heartbreak that easily. You just don't. As much as you want to admit it or deny it, you just can't. But yeah, I think with time, right, like things get better. The fog begins to clear up. You start to find yourself on land if you're drowning. And I think how you deal with it will ultimately shape how you process a breakup. And I think one of the most important lessons to take away from this first month is that I think despite all that's happened, and despite the fact that you feel like everything around you has fallen apart and it's gone, I think the most important thing to learn is that the world around you still exists. You still have your friends, your family, your community, and you still have people who care about you. And losing one person, no matter how significant they are, isn't going to be the end of the world, right? And I think if you can recognize that, I think the beginning of recovery is always easier, I guess. Not to say it's easy to begin with, but it will make it easier to digest, and easier to process, and easy to navigate. Because at the end of the day, no matter what type of person you are, the best medicine, I guess, to help with these type of situations is talk it through however you want, even if it's talking to a camera like I'm doing right now, right? Just talk and process it through words and through speaking out your emotions, because if you let your emotions do the thinking, you can do things that you will regret over time, and you'll think things that aren't actually what you want to think about. Yeah, I think I'm 17 minutes into this recording, and I think I've basically said out a lot that I wanted to say. I don't want to drag this on for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour. I just want to make something that's digestible, And I think this is a good way to sort of close out the video. So I want to start doing this more often, sort of speak to you directly one-on-one, because I think writing blogs is good. You can read it your own time and sort of digest it in your own way. I guess words or speaking to you directly is also is interactive for sure. You feel like I like talking. I really do, especially when it comes to like deeper topics like this. And I think I'm gonna do this more often. And I hope that if you're going through a similar thing, I hope you can sort of understand my ramblings, understand my words a bit. And if you're not going through this, I hope my words are quite helpful, and also sort of it touches sort of a part of you in some way as well. Like, because at the end of the day, we all live similar experiences, and I guess even though we do deal with it differently, I think there's always a sort of a commonality between our experiences, and sort of whether we have similar ways of feeling and similar things, ways of processing, because we're all human. We're all bound by one commonality, whether we accept it or not. Right? But anyways, I've dragged this video way too long, and I hope you enjoyed listening to this, and I guess I can expect to see this coming out on YouTube and also on the blog. So I hope you enjoyed this this raw version of me, and sort of less thought out, less coherent, I guess, version of me. But take care.